Congratulations on your retirement, Pawpaw. You've done so much for the company and your family throughout your career, and we're all so proud of you. I just want to thank you for what you've contributed to me throughout your busy time working at Jake's. You've still had so much time for all your grandkids, and we're just so proud of what you've done.
Congratulations, Papa. We're super proud of you, and I'm really looking forward to having some extra time for 42 with my #1 partner. Looking forward to beating Granny and Chris at Low many more times and some fun golf cart rides. Love you lots, Papa.
Okay. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh my goodness.
I got it.
Yeah. He has it like that.
Fantastic cutting today, too. Yeah, we're really excited. So, nice to meet you, too.
As you patched it up,
But I wonder, it's cut.
it's not structural.
No, it's good.
Thank God. Hallelujah.
Almost lost it.
Well, in terms of paying days, he actually told me to come see him at like 7 in the morning.
Joe, you want to put a Joe?
I love you, Papa, and I'm just really happy and thankful of the contributions you've made to the family business and to God, and just I can't wait for spending more time with you at the lake and riding the golf cart.
Leonard, I want to say congratulations for a job well done. I'm so proud of you for carrying on the business that Jake's brought. You always his right hand. I'm sorry. You always his right hand. And I'm sure part of you. But I'm very proud of the company and he will be too. So congratulations, and I hope that you and Linda enjoy many years of your time. Thank you.
This is a message for my honey. I can't tell you how proud I am of you. I know that the business has flourished because you've walked in the ways of God, and I see that happening now in my son and son-in-law and in this entire company. And I just praise God for who you are, for blessing me with you as a husband, and just for all the ways you've honored me all of my life and the ways you've honored all that you've come to know. I love you so much.
All right. Hey, Dad. It's your big retirement party. It's really hard to believe that we're finally here. just want to tell you how much I love you. You're my hero. I've always just wanted to please you and be like you, like every son and his father. So thank you for your awesome example of love and leadership and being a servant to others. And I'm so grateful for you. Love you, Dad.
Well, Leonard, this day's finally got here. I always told everybody you would never leave that desk. You'd be at Jake's to your last days, but you finally did it, and now we're going to get to play a lot of golf together. Looking forward to it, brother.
Hey, Leonard, it's John. I just wanted to wish you well in your retirement. I've really enjoyed getting to know you the past year. Your company's in good hands with Michael and Kevin, and I'll keep an eye on it too. And you just worry about having a great time, enjoying your grandkids, getting your golf game, your handicap low, and we look forward to seeing you here whenever you want to be around. And thanks for all you've done for Jake's, and we'll take care of it for you, I promise. Bye-bye.
Hello, Sam Sakowitz. Worked with Leonard Bench for 35 years. He's my brother-in-law. I could not have found a better person to follow for that long, and I think we all owe it to Mr. and Miss Jacob, and I hope he has a great retirement. I retired 12 years ago, and I love it.
Hi, this is Mark Schwartz, and I've worked with Leonard Bench for 35 years now, coming up next month, and happy for him and Linda that he's at this point in his life, and the adventure is ahead of him. Thank you, Leonard, for everything you've done for me and the faith you put in me over the years. I appreciate it greatly. Have a great retirement.
If you haven't found a seat, feel free to sit down. I know some of you guys may have to leave, and now or in the middle, don't hesitate, do what you need to do. But if we can, to the best of our ability, let's save the seats for the more experienced people in the room. Would be great. No, you're fine, Amanda. You're fine. You're fine. Kevin will be up shortly.
All right. If y'all are ready, I'm ready to pray. Before I pray, I just want to say I'm so excited and honored to be here. I love my dad so much, and I'm so proud that today we're not just, this is one part of who he is, and obviously it's a huge part, but it's an honor to know that this is not all that he is, that is wonderful, a leader as he's been here. He has been a leader and an investor in his home as well, in his family, and most of all in the kingdom of God. Because this is something amazing and beautiful and a huge part of his life, but he's also connected to a vision that is bigger than himself, that is part of eternity. And God is building something that's going on and on and on. And I'm excited that that's what he's a part of and that that's who he is as well. So saying that, let us bow our heads. Lord, I just thank you that you are from everlasting to everlasting, that you alone remain. I thank you that you are so good, Lord. So it's to stoop down from on high and to take hold of our hearts, God. And I thank you for each person in this room. I thank you for the fact that you love them. I thank you for every way that they have loved my dad and for every way that he's loved them. All of it, Lord, everything we know about love, everything we know about vision, everything we know about work, Lord, comes from who you are. And so I pray your blessing over everybody here, wherever they are in knowing you and having a relationship with Jesus Christ. I pray that they would go deeper into that, Lord, because it is the one most wonderful thing that cannot be taken from us. Lord, I pray over my father. I pray over every new thing that you have ahead for him. God, I thank you that you're with him every step of the way. And we're just honored to be here. And we thank you that no one knows celebration more than you, Jesus. And so in that, we celebrate today in Jesus' name. Amen.
Good afternoon. Thank you guys for coming so much. I know I speak for Leonard and Linda and the rest of the family. Just it means so much. I know for me to look out and see everybody, so I can only imagine what it means to him to see so many family and friends and people that he's worked with. It's really, really special.
Now, if you take yourselves back a little bit, about a month ago, this was the redo. So we had a little bit of a weather event that took place in January. So we had at the last minute, and I will give Michael the credit. I'm always the one that just, it's all going to be okay, and let's just go with it. Michael's a little more cautious and reserved, and he said, I think we need to postpone the party because the weather's looking really, really bad. And so I gave in, and we came up with that together. And it's a good thing we did, because if you remember what the Tuesday was like a month ago, none of you probably would have made it in here. And it's interesting, when we sent out the notice that the party was postponed, right after that, very shortly after that, I got a text message back from one of our customers who was coming to the party, and he said, you know what, I always knew it was going to be a cold day in hell before Leonard retired. So that's a quote, and not exactly true, but it was appropriate that the weather was like that. So before we move on, and I promised, they put me at the beginning so that I wouldn't go on and on and on, and we would move forward. But before we go any further, I really want to start by just honoring Miss Jacob. So if it wasn't for Miss Jacob, we wouldn't have a retirement to celebrate, because Jake's wouldn't have existed. We wouldn't be here today. So thank you so much for giving us all the opportunity. Because it's because of all of your hard work and all the blessing, Leonard was able to continue the business on and take us to where we are today, and allow Michael and I and the rest of our amazing team do what we do, which is, once again, just a total blessing. So I actually met Leonard about a little over 30 years ago. I actually, I'm married to his oldest daughter, Shelly, and we went to the same church, but I was a kid, so we didn't really know each other that well. But Shelly and I went off on a wilderness adventure trip into the boundary waters of Minnesota, ended up in the same canoe. I came back and totally rocked Leonard's world, because I sent her a dozen roses after this short trip. And you'll have to understand, at that time, she was 14. So I can only imagine what was going through his mind. And actually, as I've gotten older and I have a daughter of my own, I can imagine what that's like. And so Leonard taught me many things. From the very beginning, he taught me to be protective of your daughters, and he was. And he gave me some very clear ground rules of he expected me to treat her, and what the rules were for when she needed to be home, which I didn't abide by very well, not because I didn't want to respect him, but because I have a horrible sense of direction, and we always got lost. And he later found out that was the truth. So he actually also taught me how to tie a tie. So up until that point, I didn't know how to tie a tie. I was getting to the point where in college I needed to go on interviews and different things, and my dad, he only wore clip-ons, so I wasn't getting any help from him. So Leonard taught me how to tie my first tie. And beyond that, he taught me so many things. And my own father passed away a little over 8 years ago. And even before that, Leonard was like a dad to me. In fact, he is my dad. I'm very fortunate and blessed that I've had two dads, my own, and then all the time that I've been able to spend with Leonard, to get to know him, to learn from him, and for him to be a true role model for me. And it's just been a true blessing for my life. So I want to read one piece of scripture that I think really epitomizes Leonard. So it's from Proverbs 20, verse 7. It says, "The righteous man walks in integrity, and his children are blessed after him." And I think if you really think about that, and for those of you that know him, for all the people here in the Jakes family that know him and have spent time with him, we truly are blessed after him. Your life can't help to have been touched by him, been changed by his impact in your life. It's really just been a wonderful thing, and I know from personal experience, and I know not only with the people that I speak with here as part of the Jakes family, but when we go to industry conferences, the first question that comes up is, how's Leonard doing? And why, where's Leonard? And why isn't he here? And, tell him I said hello. And it's the list of people who admire and respect him over all of these years with not a bad thing to say is just shocking. It's not if you know the man, but in comparison to anybody else that I've ever known, I've just never experienced that before. It's amazing. He's loved and he's admired and respected because he's a man of integrity. He's a man of wisdom. One of the reasons that we're here today and have grown our company is because he has had a wisdom and a countenance that has allowed us to be wise with the way we've treated the company financially and the way we've treated people, and it makes a difference. And he loves people. If you walk around the building and talk to anybody, whether it's out in the warehouse, upstairs, in customer service, in the front, it doesn't matter. People know that he cares because he stops and he takes the time to get to know you, and he knows your family and he knows your kids and he knows what's going on in your life because he's invested the time over years and years. And then the last thing is I have never met a man as generous as Leonard. He gives and he gives and he gives when people don't know that he gives. And it's not just to his own direct family. He has sowed into lives around this building and around the Jakes family, into the community. He just cares, genuinely cares. And I know he doesn't want to hear all this because he doesn't like to receive that, which is another really amazing thing. The humility of Leonard is just incredible. I'm honored to, once again, to know him, to have had the opportunity not just to work with him, which I've had, which has been a blessing, but to be mentored by Leonard, to be his son, to be, even though not by blood, to truly feel like I was his son. And so I'm going to close with one part of him that I think is really, really important, and it's how he's lived his life out from a work aspect. He's truly been a mentor. He wraps his arms around people. He doesn't just tell you go do it. He helps you, shows you, teaches you. You might not always like the some of the reaction when you mess up, because he's like our Heavenly Father. He corrects when he needs to correct. He encourages when he needs to encourage, but he always loves. And so I found this quote, and it seemed to really wrap that all up. And it says, a truly great mentor is hard to find, difficult to part with, but impossible to forget. And you're not going anywhere. This isn't a funeral, but what you've done in my life, I'll never forget. I love you. Thank you.
Great job, Kev. Great job. I got a few things here. I'm going to try not to babble on for too long. First and foremost, I absolutely, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank everybody for being here. It means so much that you would take the time to come be here to honor my dad. So thank you. As part of this process of him retiring, I made a list, and some people in here have heard this in a management meeting or otherwise, but most people haven't heard this yet, so I'm going to say it now. I made a list of 20 things that I've learned from my dad, and my kids are all here. Many of these are going to be very familiar because they hear them over and over and over again in our house too. So, just as a testament to what he's taught me, I'm going to read you guys this list, and it certainly covers personal, it covers business. So I'll just read you guys this list to start. So, and they are kind of in priority order, meaning that the ones that we're really passionate about, I started at the top, but there's really not a lot of variation between the start of the list and the end. So the first one was just lead by serving others. It's never about you, it's always about somebody else. Just, you guys who know my dad, that's the way he is. It's not about him. Never has been. And so thank you, Dad, for teaching me that. Second one, not far behind, was lead by example. Don't tell somebody a sermon, live it. You can talk all day about something, but unless you're actually doing it, that's what really matters. Third, honor your commitments and do what you say you're going to do. Again, just these things just roll off my tongue now because I've been living them for 42 and a half years, but good stuff. Next, work hard. Do whatever it takes for however long it takes to complete the task with excellence. And followed right behind that is, forgive my French here, but do the job right the first time. Don't do a half-assed job. I heard that over and over again growing up. I remember the first time I went to cut the yard, and I cut a few corners, and he took me right back out there and showed me the right way to do it. And it's so much easier to do it right the first time, too. You do less work. I know my son Jake is back there laughing because we've had the same lesson at our house. Be genuine and sincere. Be generous. Again, some things that Kevin's already said. Express your sincere appreciation to people. Say thank you to other people, especially those that you lead. Constantly you hear Dad thanking people, and he means it. He doesn't just say it, he actually means it. Listen. Always make time to listen to people, even if you think you're too busy. I know we have some customers in the room. This isn't here by accident. This is true. The customer is the boss. They really are. Without customers, we don't have a business. And so many internal meetings we've had over the years, Dad gets up here and says, hey, I'm not the boss, the customer's the boss. I mean, he says it over and over and over again. So that's, for customers in the room, trust me, we understand that very clearly, and we appreciate your business. Always follow up. Don't assume anything or everything that you ask was completed. I know I get teased around here a little bit of following up on stuff, but I learned from the best. It's just a way to make sure all the bases are covered. Build relationships with everyone at every level of the organization. So as Kevin mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter what your role is in the company. Everybody's important. Dad will ask about your family, pray for you. He's helped people financially many times before. I mean, all of that stuff, it just comes from his heart. Make it a point to walk around the facility every day to talk to people, smile at them, see what's going on, build relationships. Again, this is repetitive. Kevin said the same thing. Regarding what's going on in any area of the business, you'll learn more from talking to team members on the front lines than you'll actually learn from talking to management. So if you really want to figure out what's going on, go talk to the people that are doing it. Let's learn that. Make it a point to consistently praise and encourage your fellow team members. Dad is the biggest cheerleader in the building, really. I mean, he goes around constantly and just encourages people and tells them they're doing a great job. Certainly if they're not, he'll tell you that too, and that's important. But more than anything, it's just about recognizing people and what they do and the value that they bring in a sincere way. Before making decisions involving people, do your research. Make sure you understand all sides of the story. There's always two sides to the story. I've, again, learned that many, many times over. Always listen to potential business opportunities. Even if they don't materialize, you'll always learn something. I know Bob's here. That when we actually, I think, is Kenny here? Kenny Goldstein? Okay. Yeah. That's funny. Kenny's always late to everything, so when he said he'll be here later, that's why I laughed. We had a meeting, I guess, 7, 8 years ago now, and again, I just thought when we first met, this is when Jake's acquired Gourmet Ranch in 2011, I guess, so we met in 2010, and I just figured it was another meeting that we were having with another company that was never going to happen, and so Dad is always, you never know when opportunities come up. Details are very important. Always get involved in the details and solving problems. This second to last, I'm almost done with this part. One of the things I picked up from Dad, and he never actually told me this, but I witnessed it, and I think it's so important, is that, whenever over the years people come up to Dad and say, hey, I work for this guy, or this is my boss, I mean, he'll always correct you and say, no, we work together. And so that is something that's always stuck with me, and I certainly try to do the same thing. And this is, last one again, this is customer related, but it's absolutely true. When you're getting chewed on by a customer for something that went wrong, keep your mouth closed, listen, take notes on what they're saying so you can look into the issues and then follow back with them later with what you learned and what you're going to do about it. So many times, ever since I've worked at Jake's, which is started in April officially 2001, I had an office right next to Dad, and so I could overhear all his conversations. And over the years, I heard many chewings that he would get, and it was, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and just he'd be writing notes, and so I learned that. All in all, just in conclusion, for my dad, I mean, it's just always been Dad about other people, and you've imprinted that on my heart. And so I know over the years you often wonder if I've ever listened or am I learning. I have learned all these things, and by far I'm not perfect at it. But you have set such an amazing example for me, for the rest of our team here at Jake's, and as most people could probably agree as a general statement, most boys, when it gets right down to it, really want to be like their dads. And hopefully they had good dads as examples. I certainly have. Unfortunately, not everybody has. But, I mean, Dad, I've always wanted to please you and make you proud. Hopefully I'm doing that. But I just love you. You're my hero. And even when we get irritated with each other, it's never... I always take a reflection back, and I can remember in the early years, Dad and I would actually tie into it pretty good. But one of the other things I've learned is, and this is just as you get older, you just have such more of appreciation for people that are older and the experiences that they've had. And so, Dad, I just want to tell you I love you and thank you. And I know you're retired, but you're still going to be around, and we want you around. So a couple closing scriptures that I came across this morning when I was having quiet time with the Lord. First one was Romans 12, chapter 10. It says, be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves. And again, that spoke to me, Dad, because you're always about it, other people and not yourself. And then finally, Ephesians 6, verse 7, serve wholeheartedly as if you were serving the Lord, not men. And so, Dad, you've served men, you've served the Lord, you've served your family, and I just love you. I'm honored to call you my dad. So, last thing, we're going to unveil something here. So, everybody that knows Dad knows he does not like the spotlight. He does not like attention. He probably isn't real thrilled about what we're going to be hanging in the front wall when you walk in. But I want to unveil this. So what this is over the last couple of months, probably 3 or 4 months now, what we did was have various members of our team. Some I know Carl and Uncle Sam, they're not on the team anymore technically, but they had some weigh-in. Basically, we had everybody come up with words or phrases, Dad, that described you. And so we have your picture here in the middle, and then all around is characteristics of you. And so we wanted to do that to honor you and just say thank you for your leadership and all you mean to us. So I'll turn it over to you.
First of all, thank all of you for coming out. I'm overwhelmed. It's hard to stand up here and just try to take it all in. But it's been a pleasure and honor to be here for 51 years. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's no wireless.
No, it's okay. This is fine. Yep. This is okay. It's been a pleasure and honor to be with each and every one of you, whether it's team members here at Jake's, it's family, it's customers, it's some of the people that work with us. I know the people here from team group who built this building and so forth, a lot of our banker friends that have made all this possible. It's, golly, you look back and you wonder how it all happened, but I guess you live a day at a time and it will happen. So thank you all so very much. Linda and I have been talking about this, and this is quite an honor, and thank you very much, and thank all of you again for coming out. It's just great to see each and every one of you and give you a hug and wish you the best in the years forward. I know that the business is in great hands. Michael and Kevin and the team that works here, they've put together a team that's been phenomenal. I think we're just excited and pleased that what they're doing and taking it to a level that I never even dreamed of. So I'm glad to see that. One of the things that I've always done, and Linda knows about this, is always believed in education. And again, our children heard it growing up that you'll go to school, you go to school, you go to school. And we've been doing scholarships here at Jake's for some years now to try to assist our team members that are unable to pay for college or scholarships for some of the professions and so forth. And so Linda and I want to give a gift to Jake's, to all of you, the team members here and your families. We want to put in $10,000 a year for the next 10 years, $100,000 into the Jake's Scholarship Fund to honor all of you and to thank you for what you do each and every day. Thank you. Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot to say except, first of all, the thank yous to the Lord that's blessed us, to my lovely wife, Linda, that stood beside me in many crazy things. I'm sure she's wondered many times what some of the thoughts and ideas and things we were attempting. She always threatens to never sign another note. So, the bankers out here understand she will not sign any more notes. To our family, our children, the Kevin and Christy, for the blessings they've been to our lives, to our grandchildren. And I tell you what, I wish we would have had them first. They're a lot easier to spoil and then send them on off. But just enjoy yourselves. We'll again mosey around. I haven't had a chance to see everyone personally, and I want to continue to do that. But thank you again for coming out and thanking you to make this a wonderful career for me.
Thanks, Dad. Okay, real quick. I know that everybody here is very busy, has things to do. Do not feel like you need to hang around, but you're welcome to hang around. We'd love for you to. So we're not wrapping up this yet, but all I wanted to say is we want to give people a chance if they want to say something and that they remember about Dad or that he taught them or that honors him. So, Carl, you want to talk? Oh, no, I'll never get off there. Okay. Anyways, I know, where's Jason? I know Jason will probably kick it off. Where are you at? But honestly, just if you have something you want to say about what Dad's meant to you or a memory, please, we want him to honor him. So don't be bashful. We got a wireless mic, so once you're done, just pass it on to the next person.
You got it. You know, I think Michael and Christy and Kevin did a tremendous job of recognizing Leonard and paying honor to him. And sometimes it's easy to say, well, you know, that's the son and the son-in-law, you know, so that's what they're saying. But everything they said was absolutely true. I've had the honor to work here alongside Leonard for 16 years, and that's the way he looks at it. We work together as a team here. I'm on? Yeah? Okay, I'll do that. So, but again, you know, it's always a team. If you ever get an email from Leonard out to our organization, it always starts team. And that's the way he looks at it. And as you sit there, he never was too busy to have time for you. If you had a question or you had a challenge, whether it was personal or professional, and you would walk into his office to ask him a question, you would sit down, he would always get up from the desk and walk around and sit in the chair next to you and talk to you. He would always listen. He was one of the best listeners that I've ever been around. He would try to understand what the challenge was and help you work through the challenge that you had. And most importantly, he was a tremendous teacher. You know, when I came here 16 years ago right out of school, and had a lot to learn, and the amount of time that he not only invested in me, but invested in all of our team members is tremendous. He deeply cares about each of us, and again, he just never had, was too busy or didn't have time for you. He always made time for you. If you had something going on, he would check on you on the weekend. For those of you that know that had family members, or if you were in the hospital, you had family members in the hospital, who was coming to see you? It was Leonard Bench. He was going to show up there. He was going to talk to you. He was going to care for you, see if there was anything that you needed. And that's just who he was. And we've all been very, very blessed and fortunate to have learned. And when you think about servant leader, he's the definition of that. He truly is. And he also taught us always, over time, is that the customer is the boss. And we've never lost that. And that was the one thing that he has always reminded us of, and that everything we do, that as long as we keep that at the focus and what we're doing and the decisions we make, and we do it with honor and integrity, the future is very bright. So thank you very much. Thank you for all you've done for me personally, but for our entire team.
If anybody else has something else they'd like to share.
Sure. There you go, buddy. So you have to stand, don't stand in front of the speaker.
Hi, I'm Buddy Johnson. I'm not a customer, a member of the team, or a banker. 47 years ago, the Texas National Guard brought Leonard and I together. And we've been a friend ever since. And shortly after that, Linda and my wife, Pat, joined that group as dear friends for a long, long time. 45 years ago, yesterday, talking about how your original planned celebration was canceled because of weather. 45 years ago, yesterday, my wife was going to throw a surprise birthday party for me, hosted by the Benches. And it snowed 5 inches that day. 5 inches. To keep me busy that morning, we were going to go play golf. And I said, no way. It's snowing. Well, it's not snowing north of town where we were going to play. We're going to go play. It never dawned on me that it was a setup. But at any rate, I don't know if you knew it, but the unit we were in was an airborne unit, which meant that 4 times a year we had to jump out of an aircraft with a parachute on. And I don't know if this story is totally true, but I'm going to share it anyway. We came up, I guess, on our very first time to do a night jump. And we didn't do those very frequently, but night jumps were pretty scary because you couldn't see the ground. So I turned to Leonard and I said, are you ready for this? He said, oh, no problem. I said, what do you mean? He said, all my jumps are night jumps. I said, what? He said, I never opened my eyes. Actually, that's not true. But we did have a compadre who that was true for him. So anyway, dear friends of ours, we moved to San Antonio in '85, and our friendships are just as strong today as they ever were. And Leonard, congratulations to you on an incredible run. Congratulations.
Wow, what a tribute, Leonard. Looking out at all these people, many, many who you and I have known for a long, long time. Leonard and I go back almost 35 years. Met him at the first NIFTA convention, I believe, NIFTA Code, when we got together and started to form Unipro. And then we were brought back together at a lunch at Spanish Flower about 12 years ago that brought Gourmet Ranch and Bob and team, the Gourmet Ranch team, together. But in my 43 years, I don't think I've ever met anybody more honorable, all the words that are up here, and then some than you, Leonard. And the time you've given all of us as employees, more importantly, as your friend and developing this beautiful company that you built and sweat and tears is just phenomenal. Our Saturday talks, our Friday afternoon talks, making time. I think Jason said it. You always, didn't matter how busy you were, you popped out of that chair. I said, Leonard, don't get up, don't get up. You were out of the chair and sitting next to me in record speed. So I just want to take this time to wish you lots of mazel, which is good luck, lots of good health, lots of great times with your unbelievable bride, Linda, who I've come to know and love as well, and the entire Bench family. And I know you're going to enjoy your retirement. We hope to only see you once every other week here. And thank you for letting all of us be a part of this journey that will continue, and I'll do everything I can in my power to emulate what you have done for Jake's.
So real quick, so if we can get Leonard to once every other day, then he can enjoy his retirement.
He does have a trash can in his office, though. Leonard, I wasn't going to talk, but since the banker brought up airborne and jumps, I decided to get Wayne Yates. I'm sorry, that's a different story. I just wanted to say thanks publicly, Leonard. I know you and I have talked. I've been at Jake's for 10 years here. Started as a transportation manager, and it all started one day when I got a call literally out of the blue. He had to leave a message. I had to call him back, looking for a transportation manager, something I didn't know anything about. Was a lot of fun. I had a lot of different experiences. Leonard knows my background. It wasn't just jumping out of airplanes, although that was the best part. And out of 54 jumps, I think I had about 46 night ones. But anyway, I wanted to tell a quick story. Leonard's heard me say this before. If I ever had any doubts, I came from a large company to a smaller company, scratched my head sometimes. Wondered a lot. I knew Leonard and Linda my whole life, Kevin and Michael as well. I had to figure out who Jason Blackshear was over time. But nonetheless, I did a lot of evaluating. Well, Leonard and I were on a trip in Dallas, and early one morning, we had an accident that everybody walked away from, but severe nonetheless. We shut down I-10 East pretty much all day from 5:30 till about 3:30 in the afternoon. I got a call right as Leonard and I were walking to his car, actually getting in the car. My phone rang, and it was one of the drivers, said that he had an accident. And I looked across the car, and Leonard and I had a 4-hour trip ahead of us. And I went, man, I don't want to deliver this message. So I looked at him, and he goes, what's the problem? And I said, Leonard, this is the problem. And he said, do you want me to drive? I said, no, I'm a control freak. I like driving. I can tell you for 4 hours, Leonard let me work the problem. He had the faith in me. He had the confidence in me to work it. Didn't badger me with a lot of questions. I made the phone calls I needed to do. I got things rolling. So much so that I was at a place where I finally suggested to Leonard, you probably need to call Linda and let her know if she turns on the news, she's going to see something she doesn't like. I don't want her to see that by accident. But just wanted to say thanks for your confidence in me. Thanks for the opportunity. And thank everybody I work with. He has built a great team. Those of us that get the privilege to work inside, we really understand it. We really enjoy it. Coming to work is not a chore. We have our moments, but coming to work is not a chore. And Leonard, you built that. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Can I start? Go ahead, bud. Dear Papa, I love you so much. I am so happy you are my grandpa. I couldn't ask for a better one. When you took over at Jake's, you knew that it would be rough sometimes, and you were able to get through it with God. God has always been important to you. I love when you spend time with me. The time we went to Bass Pro Shops together was the best, and it was super fun to do with you. You took time out of your day to be with me. You have taught me how to be a broomologist, sugar. I am really proud of you for all you have done at Jake's. You started out as an egg inspector. You always have told me you have to work from the bottom and work your way up. You set a great example of how to be a hard worker. I know this is hard for you to not be the president anymore, but you trust my dad and Uncle Kev. But now you get to have more fun with time with family. P.S. Thank you, Granny and Papa, for giving birth to my dad and setting a great example. I love you, Papa. Love, the Pupster.
Anybody else? I know. That's tough. All right.
Well, Papa, I didn't get the memo that we were writing letters, but that's okay. I can just wing it. So my Papa really only needs 3 things, and that's Jesus, his family, which is all of you, and styrofoam Whataburger cups. He has taught me what it means to be a selfless hard worker. From the time I was little, I could come up on Saturdays, which, as you all know, he was here on Saturdays. And I could come and I could dust his shelves, and he has this little picture frame in his office, and you can leave a recording on it. And so me and my brothers always leave him recordings on it. And now that you're retired, Papa, we can go jet ski and look for crocodiles more. And I know that this is not as heartfelt as my brothers, but I didn't know we were doing this. But yes, you've taught me so many things, and I appreciate you and Granny so much, and I love both of you.
But yeah, I also did not write a letter, but so I'm just gonna have to come up as I go and say something. So I just want to thank you, Papa, for everything you've taught me. You've taught me how to work really hard, and all of our time at the lake, and especially I remember one time after the hurricane, the first Memorial Day one, or not the hurricane, the flood. But yeah, I went up to the lake, and there was a bunch of debris and everything on the ground, and you taught me how to clean that up, and it was a lot, and you kept pushing me to do my best. And so I want to thank you just for always being there. And you spend so much time, and you take it out of your day to just be with all the grandchildren, and I think that's something really special that separates you from everybody else, and just that you're always that and caring, and yeah, that's pretty much.
Anybody else? You don't want the mic back in my hand.
It'll be free.
You have to use the mic.
Great. I just want to take the chance to honor my dad specifically about something that I think is so rare now in our society, but I just see it in him so much. And the older I grow, and I'm not the best at this, so that's another reason. Usually when you're not great at something, it really makes you appreciate it when you see it in somebody else. And my dad's ability to stay consistent with something when it's not going to come to fruition for perhaps 20 or 30 or 40 years. And he really is like that. In fact, the land that we're standing on is because in the 80s he decided to buy rental property. And to every Saturday, you know, we had to wake up early, had to go to the rent houses. He was knocking on the doors. He would always like collecting rent, you know. And me and Michael were like cutting yards in some suspect areas, and but he was doing that, and and at times the rent houses weren't rented, and we were praying. You know, my mom was working extra, just waiting for everything. You know, he was willing to put himself under stress and to not go out and spend to the very far end of where he was really willing to sacrifice then for something so much later, and it's just a really remarkable thing
because we live in a very instant society. And I see that in you, and I admire it so very much. And I just want to say thank you for actually really, truly living that. And it, yeah, it challenges me. So thank you, Dad.
Yes, she does.
This will not be long, but I have to say that when I look around this room and I think about the people that my husband has touched by his love and kindness, and God blessed me with him to be my husband. We'll be married 50 years in April, and there's never been a time when I did not want to be married to him. I've been mad at him, but there has never been a time when I thought, why did I do this? So I just want to say that many times you never hear good things about people until you're at a funeral, and then people are talking, and the person that's dead never hears it. So I am grateful that my husband got this blessing of hearing how much he's meant to so many people. And I can't thank God enough that he's my husband.
So I'm not going to try to top that because no one can. So what I am going to say is to, once again, just tell everyone thank you for coming. And it wouldn't be a party without cake. So make sure that you enjoy the food, get a slice of cake, spend time with friends and family. And we just, once again, thank you guys for being here. God bless.
Thank you very much.
Dear Papa, you have shown hard work for over 40 years while working at Jake's. I look up to you because we all do, because you push through when times get tough. You have taught me how to work and how to be a broomologist. All the times that I have come to Jake's and we're working, you have always been so dedicated and focused. For you to retire is a big commitment, and I am excited to see where this takes you. I like how you're a servant for Jesus. For you to also be the best grandpa is even better. You take me to dinner and let me work at Jake's. You take me on trips. I love you. Love, Bear.
Hi, Dad. I just wanted to say congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I know that the first week you were retired, I ended up calling you to the house so you could come work and help me fix things. So see, you're not going to be bored. Thank you so much for what you instilled and how you raised Michael so that he could be a servant leader, a servant husband, a godly man that's leading our family just like you did, Lord. And I'm just so blessed by that. So we love you very much, and we're looking forward to all the times we get to spend with you now.
All right, Dad. So, like you, I do not like front and center, but this is straight from my heart to yours. So happy for you, excited for the new thing, the vision and the desire of your heart God's given you for the kingdom that's just between you and Him and a few people, and praying about that with you already. And I can't wait to see God use it and use you. what a special day. You have been honored by many, and my heart has been full watching it all. And I know you're having a hard time receiving it all, but I love the things that no one else knows. I love that you start your day on your knees. I loved watching your faith grow, even as a man, always a man of faith, but I loved that I've seen Jesus transform you. I love how you love Mom and invest in the grandkids and just live what you believe. And maybe not as loud and vocal as Mom, but just faithfully, steadfast, humbly. It's beautiful. So you are a mighty man of God and a humble servant, and everywhere I go, people look me straight in the eye and just compliment you. And it is a great honor to always be Leonard's daughter, and I just love you so much. So congratulations and cheers to retirement.
Hey Leonard, this is Doug. Wanting to wish you a happy retirement, and I beat you there by a year, but I know you're going to have a great time spending time with the grandchildren and your kids, and playing golf and getting out and doing all the things that you've been wanting to do. I also wanted to say, Leonard, that I didn't get up and talk during the thing because I didn't know if I could tell you some of the things that you meant to me without kind of tearing up a little bit. One of the things that really sticks in my mind is how, you know, when Linda said about how many people don't get to see what people think about them until their funeral, and they're not there, obviously, but, you know, it just drew into focus when my father died. You know, I was the only one that even stood up to even say anything about him at all, and, you know, we weren't close, and there wasn't much to say, and there was one or two people in the audience, and the man lived his whole life and never really touched anybody. And those he did touch didn't have much nice to say. And it kind of makes me think about how one person can leave a legacy either for good or for ill. And in hearing all the stories and all the people that you've touched, I'm just amazed at how you've done that. And you're an inspiration to me, that now that I'm retired and I have the time to go out and make a difference, maybe I can. So thank you, Leonard.